nothing but the dog in me. Why must I chase the cat?
Nice job. Very nice. We're working. We're working on Mike, as some of you may or may not have gotten a sense that Zach's had a protege, trainee, whatever, for a couple of months now at least, right? 2-3 months? Yeah, something like that. And more and more, Zach has let Mike take over, and one of the things that we've tried to get him to work on is his transitions, you know, from one thing to another, and he's a little choppy, but that was just really a nice seg this time around. Very well done, young man. Anyway, good evening and welcome to Pound Posse Presents. You know, might as well, it's live TV, folks, so, you know, you're going to be included on everything that happens here, and it just is what it is. There's no do-overs on live TV, and I wouldn't have it any other way because it just adds to the fun. Anyway, here we are. It's December. It's getting that Christmas season. You know, most people mark this kickoff to their Christmas season with Thanksgiving. And of course, tonight I'm going to give a birthday shout out, which is, I guess, just as good a kickoff to the Christmas season as any other. And, you know, any of you who have watched the show, friends with me on Facebook, follow the Pound Posse Presents Facebook page, know that I'm just tiny little bit obsessed with a little chihuahua named Juno. And the 30th, which I guess was Thursday, was Juno's birthday. Let's have a look at the pictures we have for Juno. That was Juno and I in the spring. My little baby girl. Any of you not familiar with her, I find it, if you're familiar with me, I find it hard to believe that you wouldn't be familiar with Juno. You can scroll through those. One of Juno's favorite things is pizza, and I hope that she got pizza for her birthday. And of course, there's the queen herself, all decked out in her birthday glory. Juno is 9 now, and of course her mom, Deb Young, runs Juno's Place, does a great job with everything she does. She's just a wonderful person, and, you know, one of the many that I can say I am so grateful that the show has brought me to as not just a guest, but as a friend. And, you know, I just, yeah, just a little obsessed with Juno, I can't lie. And I know it shows. So anyway, happy 9th birthday to Juno. May your days be filled with, you know, pizza and tire irons and all that other stuff. I kind of got a little confused and wished her a happy birthday on Facebook a day early, only because I had put it in my phone and didn't realize that the reminder was set to go off that day early. And so, you know, I got a little confused. People had commented on it before. Oh, look at them playing games in there. Yeah, I know that's Zach and not Mike doing that, because, you know, he anything that lands just right over my head, he needs to play. Go ahead, do it again. You know you want to. Yeah, I do. Oh, boy. Okay, so you got out of your system now? Okay. I'll take the camera back. Yeah, because you're going to pause it one more. Oh, no, I'm surprised. Oh, you handed it back to Mike. I know. Yes, you did. Oh, you know, I'm telling you, Zach is horrible like that. It started, I think, one time when I was doing something about Spike Taylor. May he heck yeah, in peace. And his ears just parked over my head just right. And I looked up, and there Zach had it like just in the right spot where, and it's been his thing ever since. And that's okay. Like I said, it's live TV. We got to have a little fun. It can't be all serious. And, he's in there laughing. He thinks he's funny. It's all good. Anyway, happy birthday, Juno, is really where I've been trying to go with this. And that is that. Next up, some rather sad news. Again, anybody who has followed me for any length of time knows that how much I loved a little one-eyed chihuahua named Harley. And Harley passed away in 2016. It was, shortly after I was fortunate enough to get to meet him. But after Harley's passing, it seemed like there were these one-eyed chihuahuas popping up everywhere. And, people were sharing them with Harley's parents, Dan and Rudy Taylor, and, trying to be like, I don't know, I get it, trying to fill the hole, trying to, not take his place, but fill the gap. And just ironically how that there were so many little one-eyed chihuahuas popping around out there. But there was one, Fernando, and he kind of stuck. Dan and Rudy took him in and took such good care of him. He was a little one-eyed chihuahua and had his issues, his health issues, but he was certainly under the best of care. In the last few days, he took a turn for the worst, and unfortunately, let's get the picture up. Unfortunately, they had to let him go, and so my heart goes out to Dan and Rudy and the family. May Fernando be flying free. He gets to meet Harley now and, do all kinds of beautiful things from above. If you followed Harley's page, you know that Fernando was kind of like the front man since he came on the scene, and just a really sweet little love bug of a dog. And I'll tell you, Dan's a big guy, Harley's dad and Fernando's dad, and he just carries a little chihuahua so well. It's so sweet. But my heart goes out to, like I said, Dan and Rudy and the family on their loss of Fernando. He certainly left his mark with Harley's fans and with the world. And as far as Harley's dream, we know that will still carry on no matter what. All right, so I'll take the camera back. And I've got some adoptables for you tonight. And the first dog that I'm going to put up is a special needs kind of guy. Let's get Stevie up. And Stevie, you can scroll through his pictures. Stevie was found as a stray. This beautiful boy is about 3 years old, and he's blind. He's currently still on his stray hold, but Stevie is going to need a plan ASAP. I can't imagine there to be too much worse than, not only being a blind dog. Zach, can you close the door for me? Not only being a blind dog and being out as a stray, not knowing where you are, and how horrifying that must be and how terrifying. But then to be a blind dog in a shelter, just so sad to me. If somebody didn't want to take care of him, there were other ways to go about doing it, Granted, he's on a stray hold, so he can't go anywhere yet, and maybe there's somebody looking for him, but I hate to say I don't have that much faith in people. I really don't. I hope he wasn't dumped. Glad that he is safe because, the vet says he is absolutely blind. So to be out on the streets, anything could have happened, and so glad that it didn't. So again, he's still on his stray hold, but if you're a rescue or an individual who can take on a dog with special needs like his, please contact the North Haven Animal Control. Their number is 203-239-5321, and the extension is 250. That's 203-239-5321, extension 250. Now, Stevie's just a gorgeous, gorgeous boy. And, you know, if he wasn't blind, he would be one of those dogs, because he's brindle, who would be overlooked, which, you know, again, black dogs and brindle dogs are the most overlooked in shelters. I don't get it personally, because I think they're both, you know, probably my pick of the bunch. But don't let that be the obstacle. Don't let him have any obstacles. I mean, honestly, if you can do something for Stevie, he's certainly a deserving candidate, and probably on the top of the list of the type of dog that needs to get out of the shelter, because it's no place for, a shelter's no place for any animal. I mean, don't get me wrong, but an animal with special needs, it breaks my heart. It really does. Anyway, next up is a dog named Coco. And one of Coco's advocates is a dear friend of mine. Coco's owner died, and he's currently staying with neighbors. The neighbor's intention was to keep Coco, but it's proving to be too much for them, unfortunately. The resident cats aren't having it, and the gentleman walks with a cane, and he's having trouble with that because he's getting tangled up walking him. Coco is 13, he's spry, he's active, he's in good health. Coco is neutered, he's up to date on his vaccinations, and his vet records can be released to a new owner. If you can help heal this boy's broken heart and give him a home in his golden years, email Ray at rbj2357@yahoo.com. Once again, that's rbj2357@yahoo.com. You know, it's just the saddest thing to me when a dog loses their owners, and bless the people who do step in and try to help and take care of them. You know, no way to know that the cats in the house weren't going to take to him. Coco's lived with cats, and he's fine with them, so that shouldn't be a problem. Coco should be, you know, a perfect fit for young or old alike. Unfortunately, again, the gentleman who is responsible for walking him, he walks with a cane, and that's got to be a little bit hard with a leash. I get it. So, you know, they're going to do the best they can to keep a roof over his head, you know, until a situation can be found. But hopefully that'll be sooner than later. And Coco is located in Stratford, Connecticut. All right, next up is Ava. Ava is gorgeous. Look at her. She is just such a pretty girl. She's been at Bridgeport Animal Control for almost a year. She is their longest resident. If she's not adopted by December 23rd, it'll mark her sad 1-year anniversary. No dog should have to be marking any more time than necessary in a shelter, and a year is just way too long. Ava is a sweet and loving girl. She would prefer a home without other dogs, cats, or small children. So it sounds to me like she may have a little bit of a prey drive. Ava is one of the many dogs who just doesn't show well in her kennel. She can be reactive, and they're saying this in no way shows who she really is. Now, you know, that's a thing. A lot of dogs in shelters are defensive. It's busy, it's crazy. They're not home. They don't know why they're there. They have their territory. They're just not themselves, you know. They see people outside the kennel and they bark, or they get, you know, defensive, and they get excited. There's just a number of reactions that a dog can have. And as soon as they come out of the kennel, a lot of them are just like, you know, night and day. They're so happy to be around people, and they're you know, just full of mush and love, and they're just being a little territorial. I don't know. I don't even think that's the right word, because sometimes that has negative connotations too. But I guess what I'm really just trying to say is that some of these dogs get overlooked for all the wrong reasons. In the shelter, in the kennel, it's not necessarily, they don't present their true personality. Think about how your dog might react at home, when the mailman comes to the door, or, somebody walks by the house. They're just doing their guarding their territory thing. So a lot of these dogs in these kennels, it's kind of the same thing. They're stuck in there, that's their space, and they're just sounding the alarm. They're doing what a dog does, and it turns people off, and maybe it really shouldn't. Maybe you've got to give those dogs who are posturing more of a chance. And maybe that's the whole thing with Ava. People walk by her kennel and, she's not looking like she wants to be your friend, but she really does. And so let's do Ava the favor and share her if you can't adopt her. Let's try to network her into a home so that, we're celebrating her adoption and not her 1 year mark at the shelter. Her adoption fee is sponsored, which is really nice because, obviously people are trying to rally and get her home in the best way that they can. So if you're interested, you can call 203-576-7727. Once again, that's 203-576-7727. Ava is at Bridgeport Animal Control. Now, I have a friend who is affiliated with a shelter in Ohio, and it is the Knox County Animal Shelter in Mount Vernon, Ohio. And James is the first dog we're going to look at there. A lot of these places are, shelters aren't necessarily the kind of places where, they can always get used to the animal and get a real read on the animal. They only know what they see in the time that the volunteers are at the shelter. So there's not a lot of information that can be had on these next few dogs. They say James is a sweet boy. He's very handsome. He walks very well on a leash. And the picture of his kennel card, this is just like how they know when somebody walks through. This is basically what you've got. He's about 2 years old. He's been there since September. And, he would probably love to have a home for the holidays too. And if you're in the Ohio area, so be it. If you're in this area, there are transports that are available. And I'm sure that, the person I know out there can find out anything that she can in advance. Next up is Honey Bear. And Honey Bear, she looks like such a sweetheart. She's about 6 years old, and she was an owner surrender in the beginning of October, so she's been there for a little bit. Very sad owner surrender dogs. I mean, it hurts my heart. She is very sweet. She's good with other dogs, and, she's probably just very confused too. I can't imagine how these dogs feel when, someone gives up on them like that. Anyway, the next dog is Allie, and she's a beautiful girl too. She's been waiting since August. That's a long time. She's been waiting for someone to love her and take her home. She is about 6 years old. She's good with children, not good with other animals. And, I get it. That makes it more difficult for somebody with animals to take her in. But really, folks, if you're ever thinking of adopting a dog, and you don't have any other pets, you are prime real estate. Next up is Tasha. Tasha's another sweetheart, just waiting to be picked. She's great on a leash. She loves to go for walks. She's good with children and not good with other animals. So, here you have it. The dogs that sit the longest are unfortunately, the ones that maybe are slightly more of a niche adoption. But like I said, if you've got no other animals, you are prime real estate, folks. And you could be doing such wonderful things if only you'd open up your hearts and your homes. So you can scroll through the 4 of them again. They are at Knox County Animal Shelter in Mount Vernon, Ohio. And they are located at 285 Columbus Road in Mount Vernon. And the telephone number there is 740-393-6713. Once again, that's 740-393-6713. Next up is Skye. And she is so pretty, and you can scroll through her pictures. Skye is a very special girl whose love and sweetness are as big as her name. Look at that little face. I can't even stand it. She is just so pretty. And she was at the Bikers Against Animal Cruelty Santa pictures last weekend. She got to meet Santa, and I bet she told him she wants a home for Christmas. Just a guess. I don't want to spoil her wish. So Skye is about 3 years old. She's up to date on her vaccinations. She is spayed. She loves to meet people, and she's dog selective. She enjoys walks and playing, or just being near her person and chewing on a bone. And she is at Harwinton Animal Control. And if you are interested in finding out more or meeting Skye, you can call 860-806-8743. Once again, that's 860-806-8743. And, there's so many of these dogs who, I'll take the camera back, who need homes. And there's so much people can do to help, whether you can actually adopt one or not, or foster one or not. You can still share them, help promote them, help network them, because I know it's an old story, but the more eyes that see these dogs, the better off their chances are to find a home, because you never know who's going to see them. Christmas is coming, the holidays are coming. Puppies aren't presents, pets aren't presents. That's a touchy subject, Pet store puppies come from puppy mills. There's no way around that. So, to go that route is certainly to perpetuate the misery that the parents are living day after day after day. And, if you don't believe what I say there, you can go to, Harley's Facebook page, check out the website, National Mill Dog Rescue. The information's all there. The Humane Society, the ASPCA, everybody's got the stats, and it's a fact. It's not guessing. And adopting certainly is the way to go for the holidays, if that's going to be the decision that you've made to bring a pet into your home. But please make sure that everybody's on board. If a family member is hesitant, you need to work through that first. If you're doing this because you want to give your kids a pet for Christmas, whether it's a small animal or a cat or a dog or a puppy or a kitten, remember, there are puppies and kittens and small animals in shelters too. But if you're going to do this because you think your child is going to be responsible and the one to walk and feed and care for and clean up after, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, think that through really carefully. Because if you're not willing to pitch in, because as the adult, as the parent, you've got to know what the expectations are reasonable for your children. I mean, you can't just think that it's all going to go the way you want it to go because you said so. Once you take an animal into your home, it should be a family member, not a threat. Not, well, if you don't do this, I'm going to get rid of the dog. Or if you don't do that, I'm going to get rid of the hamster. That's really not the reason why you bring a pet into the home. You don't bring a pet into your home on conditions. You are going to be the one to take care of it, whether it's, a rabbit or a hamster or a bird or a cat or a dog or whatever you decide to bring into that house. You have to understand, as the adult, it's a commitment. If it's going to be too much for you, when your kids maybe don't do everything that you think they're going to do, then you shouldn't be doing it. That's just basically my 2 cents in all this, because this is part of the reason why by February the cute little puppies are in the shelter. Animals get dumped shortly after Christmas because it was too much. The kids aren't taking care of them. Now people want to go on vacation, and oops, we got a dog, so now we can't. So let's just bring it to the shelter. I have no use for people who just dump their animals in shelters because it's an inconvenience. The rest of us who have animals and make that commitment for life, we make it for life. And there's a lot of inconvenience sometimes, but that's life and that's love. So think again before you, as much as I want everybody to have homes for the holidays, I don't want them to have the wrong homes. Do we have time to run through the adoptables one more time? Because now I can't hear you because the door is closed? Yes? No? These are the dogs in Knox. And then there's going to be Stevie and Coco somewhere in the mix, maybe? Yep, there we go. We'll get this together and Ava, how could I forget Ava? She's beautiful. So anyway, again, adopt, don't shop. I'm going to say peace, love, and dogs. Until next week, thank you everyone for watching, and good night.